In '99, I had no idea what was in store for me over the next 10 years. I was working for a finance company at North Sydney, and we had gone through a number of downsizings and repurchases, and we thought everything was fine and settled and things were just going to move on. I'd been there for 9 years and just assumed that I would be there for 10 years, get some long service, maybe do 15 years, and if I felt like staying another 5, do my 20 years, get my long service and live happily ever after. However, the redundancy certainly changed my mind. I ended up with $38,000 worth of super, and being women, we have time off with children. We don't have a lot of super, and most women will retire on about $70,000 worth of super, so that's not a lot of money, not going to see us too far into the future. So it really is up to us to change our to change our life and find out what we can do to move forward. For me, the change was an article I found in the local paper. It was about bad investing, and I thought I must read that article so that if ever we have any money to invest, I'll know how to do it correctly instead of making a bad mistake. The article went on to meeting date at the bottom of the story, and I thought I'll go along to that meeting, have a look, have a listen, see what they're all about, and see if there's something there for me. So I went along to the meeting, and there's a gentleman there talking about buying multiple properties, and all I could think of, this fellow is on $100,000, $120,000, and remember this is 10 years ago, back in '99, and I thought he's doing what he's doing because he's on a much greater income than I am. But I found out from going back to more meetings that you could buy property using little or none of your own money. Nobody ever told me that. We don't learn this thing at school, we don't learn these things at university or TAFE. So it is a matter of basically networking and talking to people and finding out what's available out there for you. The meeting sort of intrigued me, but I always thought, what is the catch? Nobody does this for nothing. What does this person get out of it, and how much danger is there for me if I were to go with this person? Would I lose my home? Would I lose my money? What sort of a situation would I be in? So I started to research this club, and it was called the Investors Club, and I'm sure some of you may have heard of the Investors Club. They've been around now for 16 years and they have 95,000 members. It's very, very interesting because the statistics show that only 1% of people will actually go on and do something in the property investment line. I think it's 8% of Australians have property. Probably more than that, but 8% have multiple properties. Within the Investors Club itself, 33% of Investors Club members have multiple properties. So there's something there that works. We found that there was a need for women, and my friends and I, because there are a lot of people, as you've come in and you've bought property, you can become a support member if you want to, and that means that you're out there showing other people how they can buy multiple properties as well. It's not a paid job. We do it because we love it, and we get paid on commission, so if there's no sale, there's no commission. But we do it because we know that it works, and as Sandra said, we do speak all around Australia and internationally, which is very exciting because we get those overseas trips and they're tax deductible. But there are a team of 8 ladies, and we speak generally at Ryde Eastwood Leagues Club, second Wednesday of the month. But on your seat there's a little blue card if anybody is interested. It's nothing to join, there is no cost, and we're here to give you as much information as you want and to help you move forward. But I think the important thing is to realise that using little or none of your own money, there are 2 ways of doing this, probably a few others, but 2 that I'll touch on today. One is you can use the equity in your home. That wasn't very comfortable for me because I didn't want to lose my home if anything went wrong. And a friend said to me once, if you've got $80,000 worth of cash, would you put it in the bank and not expect to get interest? And that made me reassess the things that were going through my head. And I thought, okay, if I can use the equity that's in my home to grow and move on and have a better life for myself and my children, my husband, it's worthwhile having a look at, especially if there was no financial outlay up front. So we went along and we had a look, went to more meetings, and eventually I just assumed that we couldn't do this because it was way out of our league. But I filled in a form that gives you an assessment of your borrowing capacity, and we discovered that we had enough equity in our home to buy 2 properties. Straight away the barrier goes up because I don't want any debt in my life. We'd paid off our home and we weren't prepared to get into debt. I didn't realise that there was good debt and there was bad debt. To me, it was all just debt, and I didn't want to go there. But eventually I was talking to other people, what they've been able to do and what they've been able to achieve, and we bought our first property at the end of '99. That was a 3-bedroom townhouse in Queensland. We paid $176 for that, and it's now worth $410. So that extra $200,000 worth of equity belongs to us. So I can do what I want to do with that, and we're waiting until my husband retires next year, and we'll take that money out and we'll travel and we can do whatever we want. So if that's what we've done with one property, what can you do with multiple properties? So in 2000 we had another look and we bought another property. This one was also in Queensland because at the time the Investors Club didn't have properties in Sydney, and most people in Sydney want to buy something in their own backyard. However, over time you do realise that people live in other states, so it's okay to buy properties in other states. A little bit later we bought another property. They were talking about going to Western Australia because the boom was coming over there. To me it just seemed like the end of the earth going all the way to Western Australia, but we went over there. We bought a duplex and that was in about 2003. That doubled in about 2.5 years, so we were extremely pleased with that. In the meantime, we'd come back to Ipswich in Queensland, where we were told the next boom was going to be up there. We paid $186 for a 4-bedroom house, double lock-up garage, on a huge block of land, 800 square metres. That property is now worth $350. We went back to WA and bought another villa over there. That again doubled in about 2.5 years. So we were right there where the Investors Club was saying that the boom was going to be. And every state has a change in property growth depending on where they are and where the cycle is. So it is important to diversify. Same as if you're doing shares, you need to have shares with different companies because they will all go up at different times.